Let's get to the Packers versus the Bucks game. Um, let's kind of just address the elephant in the room. It's very clear that I'm a Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers is right on my wall, and I even have his jersey. And you know what? Even though I know the outcome of this game, I'm still gonna put it on. Why not? Ugh. Jesus Christ! All right. Hopefully my mic is not screwed up right now since I just tilt it. But let's just start from the beginning. Right off the bat, the Bucks took advantage of Evans' size, and he got a couple big yard plays, including a TD. I mean, slowing him down at the start isn't going to work. He's just way too big, and he'll push you right back without even slowing down one bit. First drive for the Packers was definitely pretty slow. The run game couldn't really get much, but you have to remember the Bucks are number one in rush defense, so that just wasn't working. And Rodgers was going to make a throw to Devontae Adams on the third down, but it was just a little too late. He left the pocket and he got sacked from behind. But either way, I think the O-line still looked better than it was the first matchup against the Bucks on Week 6. J.R. Alexander had a mismatch with Evans, and I think he was just more effective when he was paired up with Chris Godwin, because, as I mentioned, Evans' size is just way too much. Eventually, the Packers did get a TD. Rodgers threw a tight window pass to Marquez Valdez-Scantling for a TD, which helped build momentum, and the Packers' defense was looking a little bit more cleaner ever since that TD pass. I have to remember, I sometimes make fun of MVS because he drops a lot of balls, but he's one of the best deep ball threats. He averages 20-plus yards per catch. But back to the defense, I said it looked cleaner, but I only meant the run D. Sullivan and Savage were just letting Godwin and Evans get loose. And even Leonard Fournette was got a TD off of some bad defense. And let's talk about Kevin King. Kevin King was literally leaving everybody wide open. It was just, here, you get a catch, you get a catch. He was just making things very difficult. But Packers are great offensively because they seize every red zone opportunity. They are number one in red zone TDs. However, the Bucks were even giving them a hard time, so they just seemed like they just weren't catching their stride for a bit. Before half, the Bucks were very aggressive on their last drive, which I think was a very key defining moment that defined this game. The Bucks had about 13 seconds to go, and it was fourth down. Instead of punting, they went for it. Brady threw a pass to Scotty Miller for a 21-10 lead at halftime, which was huge. And, of course, Kevin King allowed them to have that touchdown. It was very discouraging if you're a Packers fan. On the possession before the Bucks made that TD pass, Rodgers should have not made that last throw. It was just way too deep of a throw for nothing, and the best you can get out of it was maybe a field goal. Instead, I think it was an interception. A simple screen pass would have just killed the clock and kept the game a 4-point game versus an 11-point game. As I mentioned, it got picked off. So that was on Rodgers' fault on that. Even in the beginning of the third quarter, Rodgers was struggling and Devontae Adams was feeling frustrated. He wasn't playing up to his standard. But once they got to the red zone, they started to get their feel back and got that TD. Adrian Amos had a huge third quarter interception, which was the first interception for Brady. It was a ball that was meant to go deep to Mike Evans. Packers made adjustments, and A.J. Dillon was in the mix as running back because Aaron Jones was out for the rest of the game, and he was getting some yards, and they were getting some easy passes to stay alive. Devontae got to the red zone and got a TD. Fortunately, the Packers missed their 2-point conversion. So right now it's a 5-point game. But then this was probably one of my favorite moments. A game-defining moment was an interception from J.R. Alexander, who I think is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He's just great. He did it against Scotty Miller. So yeah, take some notes, Kevin King, because that's how you do it. However, Bucks' defensive pressure was too much for Rodgers and the Packers after that interception, so no points off that turnover. But then Alexander did it again. He picked off Tom Brady for his third interception. Rodgers threw a third down play to Allen Lazard, but no luck from there. Rodgers definitely was not playing how he normally would in these situations. I want to talk about Tom Brady being a gunslinger in the fourth quarter. Depending on where he's at in the game, he's either extremely bad or extremely great in the fourth quarter. He's completely reckless when he's in catch-up mode, which kind of what he was feeling, which I think that's what had to do with the back-to-back interceptions. Okay, I'm sure everybody remembers this drive. It was the Packers' final drive with just a little over 2 minutes to go. They were in the red zone. It was 3rd and goal, and Rodgers was going to throw it to Davante Adams, but he threw it to him, and Davante Adams missed it at the end zone. So they did a field goal. So it was now 31-26. Bucks still up with 2 minutes left. Rodgers made a tough call throwing it to Adams, and I honestly think he could have ran it, but there's more to it than that. Rodgers didn't make the run to the end zone because he thought there was going to be an attempt at fourth down. He had no idea that Matt LaFleur was going to make them kick a field goal. And I understand why Matt did that, because in his mind, he still has over 2 minutes to go, so it's an extra timeout. But you have Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be the league MVP pretty soon, and it is a game-defining moment. You don't give Tom Brady the ball back with 2 minutes left. He's going to kill the clock, and you're going to regret it. It's just not the best call in my opinion, but I understand why he did it, because before this game, the Packers were number one in red zone offense, but they were struggling at that in this game. So I can see why he got scared, but I just didn't think that was the right call. Then the Bucks got the ball back, and there was another chance. It was 3rd down, and there was a pass got stopped, and that gave the Packers a chance to get the ball back with just a minute to go. However, the refs called a pass interference call, which I thought was a bullshit call. I mean, they didn't do an Allen Lazard should have got that pass interference, and that also resulted in an interception. I just didn't think that was the right call, and if you're going to be consistent about it, you should have made that call when Allen Lazard got stopped. I mean, in all fairness, I hate to say this, but the refs did help out in this and the Bucks changed to the Super Bowl. Before I don't want to get my feelings involved too much, because last time I talked about this matchup in Week 6, I just feel like I was being very one-sided. Rodgers needed to distribute the ball more. He threw it to Davante Adams 15 times, and last time he played against the Bucks, those targets were 2 interceptions. And Davante Adams wasn't having a game to his standards. I think he could distribute a little bit more. I still like the Packers O-line. They were great. And what makes Rodgers so great in the pocket is when you try to attack him or try to put pressure on him, you got to do it to minimize time, because he can extend plays and make anything happen. He is so calculated. He can predict how many steps he has left before it's too late to throw. It's ridiculous. He did it. He mentioned this on the Pat McAfee show when he was talking about the Rams game. And honestly, that's what the Bucks did to him again, and that's what made it so tough for him, was they minimized the time he had to throw. I'm proud of the Packers defense. They didn't really perform as well as I wanted to the first half, and they showed up in the last half. And I want to commemorate Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They played great as wide receivers for the Bucks. Tom Brady didn't play great in the second half, but he did something right. He capitalized on turnovers, and that's what mattered most. And he made that very risky but game-defining touchdown before half. And then the Packers, when they got opportunities from those turnovers, thanks to Alexander, they didn't capitalize. I mean, people can say that Rodgers made it this far because he had great wide receivers, healthy O-line, and an easy divisional path. But people were saying Rodgers that he wasn't going to be this great. But he had a career year. And I've seen interviews and kind of watch him and how he presents himself this year. He's completely different. He learned to work on himself in the offseason, focus on himself, and ultimately learn to love himself. He goes in great detail about it. I mean, he's squatting more. He's getting stronger. He's learning the game more. He says he feels more rested and conditioned and just in a better mindset compared to previous years. It's very easy for him to have a negative mindset because they drafted his replacement and didn't get him any help that he wanted in the draft. Instead of looking at it negatively, he just said, my job is to win games. And that's what he did. He won games and didn't let it get to him. He's built a better chemistry with his teammates. He praises them. He doesn't point fingers like people claims he does. And they even think he's the GOAT. He says great things about Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, all these guys, A.J. Dillon. He's just in a better mindset, and he's learning to build that chemistry with his teammates, and as a result, they won games together. He says his future is uncertain with the Packers, but whatever he does, I support his decision, and I'll be a fan of him and the Packers. It's easy to get mad about this game. I'm not disappointed in them. I'm very hurt by this result this game, but I'm also just, I'm just upset. That's the best way to describe it. I could go on and say the refs stole the game, but the end result is the Packers just didn't perform to their standard. They had opportunity, but I like that they still fought. It was just a miscommunication on that final drive, and the Packers still tried, and that's all I can ask. I mean, I congratulate Tom Brady and the Bucs. It's very hard to get to a Super Bowl, and I want to say, like, Aaron Rodgers played more efficient than Tom, but Tom played better. That's why he won. So just this is how I'll wrap up the show. Unfortunately, I didn't want it to be like this for my first episode back, but it's sports. You can never predict what's going to happen. All I can do is just enjoy the moment and just, it's sports. These things are going to happen. Hi, thanks for watching the clip. If you're interested for the full episode, go to the description for the full episode link. Or if you're interested in more content clips, feel free to check out my channel for all the clips available. Thank you again for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share.